What's good, everybody? It's John. I come back at you on another video. So this video I felt inspired to do, right? I was thinking about this topic last night, like when I was going to bed, and I couldn't help but write it down because I wanted to talk about it in today's video. And this video is about trusting the universe. Now, when I say trusting the universe, what I'm effectively saying is being able to relax and believe and accept that what you want, your request, your desire, your dream, that what you've asked for, your prayer has been heard and answered, and it has already been given to you, that a solution has already been provided, and it is likely just making its way to you. Now, I know that for a lot of folks out there, this can be, sort of a challenge to trust if things have been difficult, if, you felt as though you have been struggling for quite some time. What you need to understand is oftentimes your energy that you're putting on, right? Because if you've been vibrating negative energy, if you've been vibrating frustration, right? If you've been vibrating fear or anxiety, then that there is causing those events in your life. If you're able to sit back and relax and accept that a higher power is organizing variables behind the scenes, right? You need to trust that so that these events can unfold for you, right? Trusting the universe, and I'll give you guys an example, right? Trusting the universe is a lot like farming or gardening, right? Farmers or gardeners, right? We'll use farmers as an example. When they're planting seeds, of course, farmers would plant seeds in the dirt, right? Oftentimes they'll dig a hole to put the seed in, then they'll cover it back with dirt. And then from time to time, they'll water the plants, they'll check up on it. Of course, the soil would have to be nutritious, right? I don't really know much about farming, right? But that's generally what it is, right? You want to make sure the soil is nutritious, water it, and tend to the plant, etc., etc. And when you plant the seed, as a farmer, you are trusting that the seed is taking in the nutrients and the water and getting the appropriate sunlight and things like that to eventually grow into the plant or the tree that was planted, right? Farmers don't plant the seed and then every day dig it back out of the dirt to see whether or not it's actually growing, right? It's placed in dirt and then it's covered. And then there is a level of belief and faith that the plant is actually growing from under the ground and then eventually sprouting, right? Depending on the plant that's been planted, right? So it's the same idea that when you're planting, there needs to be a level of faith, a level of belief that everything is operating, that everything is going according to plan. And so that same faith is the level of faith that you need to have with your own life, with your own goals, with your own dreams. You need to believe that everything is working out, that everything is on the right track, right? Because what you need to be aware of is that oftentimes people lose faith in trusting the universe because they're placing their attention on all of the facts of their lives, right? Of all the information they know about their facts and their situation. That is what they're using to determine whether or not something can manifest or whether or not something can unfold. But that is the incorrect way to view it, because with the universe, with everything around us, everything is interconnected. Everything is one, because everything is made up of energy. It's made up of the same substance, right? Atoms. So everything is energy. What you're aware of about the variables of your life and everything that's going on with your set of circumstances and everything, your view relative to the entire world, relative to the entire universe, is literally 0.0000001. Like, your view is so small, right? There are billions, if not trillions, or whatever other word that I can use that's bigger than trillions, right? There are well over trillions of variables that are being organized behind the scenes that your senses cannot pick up, right? Your sense of smell, your sense of your sight, touch, right? Take, right? Like your senses, your physical senses can't pick up what's going on, right? Because these are variables that the universe is organizing behind the scenes, right? If you desire something, it's very well possible that the universe will move someone behind the scenes. It could very well even be a stranger, someone you've never met before. They could inspire that person to want to do something that'll have them eventually meet you accidentally at a spot, and that could spark up a conversation, and that person could very well end up being someone that can provide you with an opportunity, right? Something like that happened to me in my life before, where a stranger, someone that I had never met before, I ended up just randomly meeting at a venue, and he was able to put me in contact with someone essentially to help me secure a job. And this is someone I literally have never met before, that I just connected with and started networking, and it led to a job offer, right? Like, this is what I mean. You don't know, right? You literally don't know. And so because people don't know, they often are fearful. They often are worried that nothing is actually happening behind the scenes when things are being organized behind the scenes, right? You need to remember, think of being a farmer with that seed. Unless there's obvious signs that the seed is growing, right? If the seed is like in the dirt underground, there's no way to tell if it's actually growing until you start seeing, roots or the vines or like the actual plant sprout up from the dirt. Otherwise, there's no way to know, right? And yet the farmer still waters it and still checks up on the plant. The farmer doesn't dig up the plant every day to see if progress was made. That's how you need to be thinking about your life and operating. You need to operate with a sense of belief that everything is in fact working itself out, and the dream life that you've always wanted is well on its way. Even if your senses right now can't pick it up, that doesn't mean it's not happening. That doesn't mean it's not being orchestrated behind the scenes, right? At some point, you'll be delivered signs, or you'll be pushed in the appropriate direction to get there, right? And it'll happen in due time, at the right time, when you're ready. So you need to always remember that the universe is working in your favor. The universe wants to bless you. As much as you want something, the universe wants to give it to you back tenfold. And so you need to operate with faith. You need to operate with belief that a solution has already been, decided on, and that it's working its way to you to give it to you at the right place at the right time. And you don't know how it'll be delivered to you. And it can be delivered to you in the most unexpected ways, right? So this is why you want to have faith. And when events like that happen, people will label it as coincidence, but it's never coincidence, because everything is connected. Everything is one, right? The universe is all one. So there's no such thing as coincidence. There's no such thing as bad luck, right? It's none of that, right? It's just trust in the universe. When you have trust in the universe, you'll find joy and peace. You'll feel secure. You'll feel relaxed. And if you haven't felt that way because you've been worried and anxious, right, then that worry and that anxious is very well what's been attracted into your life, and that's what's slowing down the solution from entering, right? Once you have that level of comfort and peace, knowing that everything will work itself out, and everything is happening on schedule, on time, right? Because God's timing is perfect. Then that's when you're able to relax and begin having fun and begin smiling, because everything is going well and everything is happening at the right time. So I want this video hopefully to give you guys a level of relaxation and peace. You're doing very well, right? Right now, where you're at, even if you're in a place that seems to be undesirable, just know that you are in the perfect place, because even in that situation that appears to be undesirable, right, you could very well be experiencing contrast. And when you're in a situation where you're experiencing contrast, right, something that you ideally don't want, that is also a perfect opportunity for you to settle on and decide what it is that you do want. And so being in a place of contrast can help spring up new desires, or help you create what it is that you truly want. So we're here in this lifetime to have fun and be happy. What you need to remember is that you have a higher power working behind the scenes, working to help you and push you forward. And I want you, if you haven't been feeling this way lately, or you just needed that reminder, I want this video to do that for you so that you can begin trusting the universe again, that everything is going well, that everything will work as a file on its own accord, and the life that you want to live, that you're working towards, that it'll soon be yours. So that wraps up the video. Enjoy the video. Do leave a like and subscribe as we are on the road to 100 subscribers. Once again, guys, it's Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.